right, we're ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh!
Woof.
Hey everybody, brand new Late's the Murder Party. I am your hostess with the mostess, the Mistress Okami, and with me is my good friend Pass the Remote.
Hey, how's it going?
And we are covering, well, let's see, it's May. May is the time for mothers.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? We're doing horror, so let's do really bad mothers. We are gonna be
Boy's
covering
best friend is his mother.
yes. Oh god, this fucking movie. We are going to be covering not the original Psycho. We've already done that. We may eventually do 2 and 3, but we're gonna skip ahead, and we're gonna do Psycho 4: The Beginning, which is also the end. Wrap your mind around that.
The beginning is the beginning is the end.
Of course, yes. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. Uh, yeah. This is interesting. 1990s, made for TV, but in the way as it's on Showtime. Psycho 4, starring Anthony Perkins.
Yes. Not directed by it though, because he did direct Psycho 3.
Yes, he did.
But yes, this is made for TV, specifically Showtime.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of that era where you're starting to get those made for TV, made for premium cable channels, and you're really starting to see premium cable starting to flex their muscles on what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see it later on with like Larry Saunders show and all that, and which culminates in like Sex in the City and The Sopranos, and bringing in things like The Wire, and things like that, which they'll inspire like FX's The Shield and Breaking Bad and things like that.
But no, it was actually a good time for TV movies when it was on that.
Oh yeah,
on channels like that. You got some really good stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is that they had hours they needed to fill. Things need to be. We got hours to fill. Find something to do. And this is a very interesting movie. And I know Okami saw it recently. I've seen it. I saw it a number of years ago. Here's one of the things I found that was very interesting. It's essentially a very low budget because you've got the sets of the major sets. You've got the house that Norman is living in.
Mm-hmm.
You have the radio station. You have the old Bates Manor, which I'm trying to remember. I think they might have made a replica for the movie. I can't remember. I do believe that the original is like in I think it's Universal. Yeah, it's Universal. So I think it might be in like the Universal City lot somewhere. Like I think it was on display for a long time.
Okay.
Universal, like if you ever go to like Universal Studios in Orlando or in Hollywood, there are some things where they will have. There are some. What's this? They'll have some of the props out for the tours and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In Orlando, Disney did that too. That's actually how I saw. You go around like when I was there many years ago. You go around like they had like all the cars, like a number of different cars on display. One of them being the car from the end of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Ooh, nice.
The tanker truck that had all the dip in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, I believe that they rebuilt the house because Do we do spoilers yet, or
So if
I mean,
you
this is
want,
very
yeah,
early.
if you want to see this film, check it out. You can find it streaming in a couple of places. Um,
Mhm.
I don't. I will say this. Like by the end of this, I will be saying that I don't think this is not worth your time. I think it's
Mhm.
perfectly serviceable. I think it's interesting. I think it'll make you think. So,
It's it's probably a rent, not a buy.
no, not a buy, but it's a rent.
It's a
It's
rent.
worth a
Yeah, I
watch.
could see that. I could see that. I even back then, I probably would say, yeah, it's a rent.
Yeah, no, because
But
we're gonna have to get into spoilers right away. So,
yeah.
without further ado, spoilers.
The second and third Psycho movies are kind of we just not gonna talk about them. It's not like they're outright displaced from like any kind of canon. It's just if they are there, it's kind of more ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the the movie basically a good bit of it is this conversation between Norman, who called into a radio station,
Mm-hmm. Hosted by
and I
CCH
think it was
Pounder.
hosted by CCH Pounder about people who killed their mothers. And I'm pretty sure in one of those scenes he had the radio on while he was talking, and you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to turn your radio off.
Yeah.
Um, if you've ever called into a radio station, they'll always tell you to turn the radio off.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because the delay of it creates this weird feedback loop, and it doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and oh, and her guest, CCH Pounder's guest, is actually from the original Psycho. He is the psychologist or psychiatrist at the end of the original Psycho.
Ah, I thought so. Okay.
Yes. So uh, Norman calls in. He has been freed
Mm-hmm.
somehow. Yeah, he's just living like a regular dude, cooking dinner. Oh, and one of the things I do like the cinematography. How you have the very warm light of Norman's house. It's kind of orangish gold glow
Mm-hmm.
compared to the very blue of the and the cold light of the radio station.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and then you also we have somebody working at the radio station, John Landis, hoping that his son will never have to one day call into CCH Pounder's radio station. Yeah,
Okay,
he
so that
is
was
the
John Landis. I just kept staring at the
that is
dude, and I'm
John
like,
Landis.
"You
Yes,
look familiar."
that's full on John Landis. Yes, that was John Landis.
Yeah, you look familiar, and there's something that's making me want to growl. Like,
um, but yeah, this is an interesting one because it also goes a lot more into the backstory of Norman's life. And be honest, Norman's life's fucked up.
Norman's life is very fucked up. Actually, that will allow me to get into.
Uh huh.
Honestly, when it comes to this film, there's a vibe I got from it.
What's that?
Which was. And it had me. I was asking multiple questions the entire time I was watching this.
Mm-hmm.
The most prominent questions were up front, why is there a sequel to Psycho?
Mm-hmm.
Because it just doesn't feel like a story that needed a sequel.
It honestly didn't, but there were other sequels, and
Yes.
I'm wondering if maybe they didn't like the other sequels and kind of wanted to actually see. I'll say, I think Anthony Perkins at this point knows it's near the end.
Oh,
This is
yeah, this
going to
is
be
true.
my little Theo theory.
Mm-hmm.
He
Oh, no.
knows it's near the end.
Oh, for him?
He decides that what he wants to do is basically end the Norman Bates character
Mm-hmm.
with him so that you can't just keep redoing it with other people
Mm-hmm.
because it wouldn't work with other people. it just wouldn't. Like, you have Henry Thomas who
Yeah.
plays the teenage Norman, or the very young Norman, and that works very well. But
Well, it's confirmed they got
this
the
is very much
diagnosis
a
that very year.
huh?
It's actually been confirmed that they got the diagnosis for him that very year.
This would have been
While he was,
wave two, if I recall correctly.
he died in '92.
He died in '92, but I believe the early '90s is still part of wave two.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he said it was said from his wife that they had gotten that diagnosis in '90. They had gotten it 2 years prior to his death, and they kept it quiet and close to their chest.
Yeah. So my theory is that they knew, and this was basically a way to kind of let the character die with him, basically.
And that's fair.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to watch a Psycho 4 with somebody else other than him.
No,
I wouldn't. I don't think it would be right.
No, I agree.
Anyway,
but the other question I had the entire time when watching this is, oh, so by the end of this, I'm supposed to absolutely feel, hey, she fucking deserves everything she gets. His mother.
It's
because everything they set up, I'm like, I get what's going on. It's she very clearly has a form of bipolar.
Yeah, I definitely agree with it, because some of those, like, there's this huge, there are these weird things, and you also have, I think that because there
it's
are
an
two
extreme
different
case.
types of bipolar.
There's two different ones, and it's an extreme case of the one that causes you to, you don't act like that.
yeah it and the thing that also, but we also have to remember that this is, because it's Norman retelling it, there can be a little bit of unreliable narrator in this,
which is,
if you want to read that,
possible. Yeah, I think it is possible.
But there's weird things that she does. Like, she will, like, during her husband's funeral, she tickles Norman until he starts laughing, then she slaps him.
Yep.
Which,
don't you have any respect for the dead? Like, no, that is not normal at all.
It's not the thing about it is that she will do these weird things, instigate them, and then when he responds as you would normally respond to, she then severely, I mean, yeah, and then there's the whole, it's raining, get out of your clothes, get in the bed, and then and then when somebody who is basically just in their underpants is spooning Olivia Hussey, in '90s Olivia Hussey, what happens?
Exactly. That's normal human reaction.
It's normal human reaction, but the fact is that a mother should not be spooning with her child.
No.
That is a big, it's like, listen, communist Russia don't have a big enough red flag for that. But yeah, there is this weird kind of sexual overtone with the abuse that's very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's in many ways trying to kind of explain why he has such a fucked up why his whole sexual life is so fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Because sexual abuse like that will fuck up someone's sexuality. It's well known.
Yes, it will.
It's known when children who have been molested, their sexuality is all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that can sometimes be a thing where that kids who are molested have a higher probability of continuing that cycle of abuse, and it's terrible.
Yes.
and and to me, I think that's also something that this movie is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to show that Norman is like he's still stuck in the past. He's still stuck in the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, I think the idea is, yeah, he's finally breaking that cycle, which is unfortunately something that can be difficult and not many people can do. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's very hard to break those kinds of cycles. And there's so many pieces of fiction and real life things of just the cycle continues in one
Mm-hmm.
form or another. But yeah, she is like she does these weird ass things. And then she also kind of just yells at him because guess what? They're building the freeway somewhere else, so the motel's going to be way out in the middle of nowhere.
Which is
And
apparently his fault.
it's the idea is the thing is, who else am I supposed to yell at? I don't know, yell at the wall or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's not his fault.
No.
Dude didn't just go to make it away so that the Bates Motel gets nothing.
Yeah.
It's like it's not his fault. So
yeah, even he looks at her just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
How is that my fault?
But then then the idea like and the thing about it is, it seems like this started before he was even a teenager. So you're now going through his sexual development, and it's all fucked up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, she
Because-
gets after him for if he even has, like, any kind of dirty thoughts or even, like, slightly an erection. And, like, she, like, threatens to cut it off. Then she, like, puts makeup and a dress on him, and it's like, yeah, you're Norma. It's like, the fuck?
Yeah, but the thing about it then is, like, I mean, I get the idea of, like, back in the day, people being very repressed sexually.
Yeah.
But then,
But then she
One,
starts
it's
getting
Olivia
pounded
Hussey.
by her boyfriend. Like, it's like...
Well, it's not only that, but the fact is, it's her then also just kind of walking around in basically negligee in some of these scenes. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I understand it's very hot in the summer, but maybe don't wear lingerie and stuff like that in front of your kid.
Yeah.
It's gonna fuck him up. Especially because at that point she didn't have a boyfriend. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I got a boyfriend. Like, she was like, yeah, when she finally did get the boyfriend, it's like, no, I understand that bit, but
Yeah.
and the boyfriend was also an asshole.
That was a piece of shit right there. And yeah, at that
Yeah,
point, I'm
well-
sorry. They absolutely deserve, like, yeah, it's a slow death, but damn.
Yeah, the idea was like we're gonna do some boxing to try to toughen him up to make him a man, and then when it doesn't really work, both to laugh at him, and it's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
which I know, I'm sure back in the day, oh yeah, it's like, you want to toughen him up, go send him to Korea or some shit like that.
Right?
Yeah, what who was it, Red from that 70s show was like, yeah, my dad wanted to toughen me up, he sent me off to the army.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he then actually murders both of them.
Yep.
He puts strychnine in the iced tea,
Yes, he does.
and it's not a quick death.
No, oh my god, that's a painfully slow death.
Yeah, they try to attack him because the fact is they know it was him.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't. Yeah, it's a slow death. They both basically try to attack him, but he's able to outlast them, and they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually get the origin of the wig.
Yep.
Because Olivia Hussey doesn't wear the kind of stuff that Norman wore as his mother. Like, she is definitely more of a Southern belle kind of a thing with it. Very much. She's not that, because Norman, when he was impersonating his mother, kind of wore like an old governess or spinster's outfit. Which
Yes.
isn't really what Norma was.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it was apparently the strychnine damaged her hair, which he had earlier talked about and in creepy detail.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that was part of the, if that actually was, oh, he was enamored by her hair, or if that was guilt of what happened. I think it's guilt.
I think it is guilt.
I think that it is guilt, that the strychnine damaged her hair to the point where in the casket she has to wear a wig.
Yep.
And I think that then, you know, and all that trauma, and then you start having him basically anytime he, you know, has sexual dirty thoughts, the mother comes out and just like kills him. And that first kill, oh my god.
Yeah.
One, we see Diddy.
Yes, it's true.
They're nice ditties.
Yes, they are. And then she throws her panties at him.
Mm-hmm. And I believe was it the older woman? Which is the one where he puts her in the trunk of the car?
Older.
And she's still alive. Okay.
That was the woman, the older woman he strangled with her pearl necklace.
He strangled with the pearl necklace, but didn't kill her. She wasn't fully dead.
No.
He puts her in the trunk of the car and pushes the car into the lake. God, that lake's got to be full of cars.
Yeah.
And
then she starts pounding and screaming, and then the gargling happens, and he's just staring, and it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, but but then, you know, as it's going down, blub, 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 blub.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he does say he killed over like a dozen people.
Mm-hmm.
So which does allow the events of Psycho 2 and 3 to exist, because you don't see him killing a dozen people.
No, because he even kind of says, it's like, yeah, I got out and I still killed some people.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what? And he just kind of glosses over that fact. It's like, okay, so 2 and 3 happened.
They definitely happened, or at least some of the events happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he even mentions when he first calls her that he's going to have to kill again.
Yep.
Which is because he did get married and his wife's knocked up.
Yeah, that whole thing, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it, Norman.
I actually, here's the thing that he did say he didn't want kids.
He didn't want kids because he feels his seed is bad. And his wife knew. Yeah.
And his wife, understand, this is the big thing. His wife knows about him.
Yeah.
So.
But she doesn't believe that. One, she doesn't believe he's 100%. Genetic. Yeah, she doesn't believe it's genetic, and she doesn't believe that he's not redeemable.
But the fact is that.
Damn, yeah. Love really does blind people, doesn't it?
Yeah, the thing about it, though, is that Norman is deathly afraid that he will pass on whatever he has.
Mm-hmm.
That he'll pass that on to a child. So he would prefer never to have children and let it die with him. Which I understand it. I've heard of folks who are like massively depressive, like, yeah, I ain't ever having kids. Mm-hmm. That's a possibility. That's genetic, and you know.
I will give him this, actually. I'll give his wife credit here, then.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's well aware of what he is and how he is,
mm-hmm.
and that he doesn't want that to pass on, he wants it to die with him,
mm-hmm.
is a sign that he's not 100% irredeemable.
I agree.
That's actually a sign that you can get better.
Yes, you can. That he can get better, and I think that one of the big things about this is that it seems like he has gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
He can have a sexual relationship with someone.
Yeah, clearly.
And maybe it's just that now that he's married, that kind of that mother side's like, well, you're married now. I guess, okay, whatever. Do. But yeah, and the idea wasn't just the thing about it was it wasn't just going to be, oh, I'll kill her. It was going to be murder-suicide.
Yes, it was. Absolutely. I could tell that's what it was.
And he even says, like early on, he was hoping they'd either execute him or lock him up so that he would never hurt people. Mm-hmm. So you do see that he knows what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah.
This isn't a psychopath or sociopath thing where, he knows he shouldn't be doing this. Like, he knows something's wrong.
Yeah, this is just a broken person.
Yeah, a broken man.
A broken man.
And
yeah.
And yeah, and the story is like he goes after her, and eventually the confrontation is in the old Bates house,
Yes, it
where
is.
eventually, yeah, she's able to get through to him, and he burns that house to the ground.
Oh yeah, and the whole getting through to him too is like really touching. The whole scene is really good, and then yeah, him getting his closure, burning the place to the ground,
Finally being able to
almost dying in there with it though.
he almost, which again, the thing is that it's difficult for him to get out of his past.
Yes.
But eventually he's able to actually, put that past behind him and able to finally let his mother die.
Yeah.
And let her be at peace.
Even though the very ending kind of sort of leaves it open, and I'm like, ah.
It leaves it. I am wondering if that might have been something like that the producers might have wanted.
Yeah, just in case they decide to make another one, which I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, I think that was that, but in my opinion, I believe that was never going to happen. I think Perkins knew he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that there would never be another one.
Yep.
And I think it would not have worked if you had tried to do a sequel with the kid. It wouldn't have worked.
No, it wouldn't
because
have worked.
you would have had to fuck up that mother, because the thing about it was...
Yeah, no, she's a good mother. You're not going to have that happen.
It has been way too long since I've seen the original Psycho. But in that one, did they say that the mother was abusive in that one, or...
They implied it.
Yeah. Okay, so they did imply it, but...
They implied that, like, she was abusive, and then he killed her, and then... But then, like, took on her...
Yeah.
Her persona. Like,
her persona is probably as a bit of guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's...
I do...
So I think that... I think the producers or Mick Garris added that in just in case.
It's a little stinger.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't tell anyone. They probably didn't tell them.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, he's like, okay, yeah, add that in there. That's fine. I'll be dead before you make another one.
Yeah. I will say, it was interesting seeing, like, when CCH Pounder is talking to the. Sorry, her character Fran is talking to the psychiatrist and talking to another person who killed their mother, which was a very interesting conversation.
It was.
Because, like, the guy's like, yeah, I killed her. Like, okay. And what happened after that? Well, I'm now staying with my grandfather. He's the one taking care of me. She's like, and you're okay with the fact that he killed your daughter? My daughter was a bitch. I see.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, it's weird because nowadays what would have probably happened was it would have been he would have filed for like custody or something like that and would have gotten the kid out of the house.
Yeah.
But this is kind of Hollywood weird world where no, instead murder's the best solution.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, she had it coming. What? Like, okay. But the psychiatrist himself, I'm going to be honest, I did not like him.
He was not meant to be likable.
No.
He was obviously
antagonizing.
The idea of it was that he is supposed to be the fact that Norman, it cannot be redeemed at all.
Yeah.
That's the obvious thing. And I also wonder if some of this is maybe some of the psychological analysis in the original Psycho is not that great.
It's really not.
And they're trying to do, and that might have been a bit of a, this guy's not that good at what he does.
Yeah.
And that he just kind of makes it worse.
Yeah, no, he's from, like, old world science of, like, like, Yeah, no, bad seed. It's like, that's
Oh
not
yeah,
a thing, guys.
bad seed. Yeah, no. Like we know nowadays we understand that that our someone is a mixture of nature and nurture. It's not
Yeah.
all one or the other. There's a bit of both.
If your kid was
And yes,
born a
some
bad
mental
seed, then you just gave birth to the Antichrist. That's it. And I'm
yeah.
sorry that you had to be responsible for that.
And even then you'll get things like good omens where it's like the Antichrist ain't really that bad of a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
He just wants to play with his friends and he's got a hellhound as a dog. As a good doggo. Like or the sequel to Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
where yeah, the Antichrist isn't always this bad. The idea of it is that yeah, um, you know, yes, you there are some mental disorders that are hereditary, and there are
Yes.
some issues, even like physical issues that are hereditary or have genetic predispositions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean anything. Like you can have a monster born in a just regular loving household because you know maybe there were issues, maybe the fact that there, and sometimes it's like no, there are actual signs of what happened in the place around them. Yeah, it just depends.
Some
That
great
I think
kids
is one
come
of the
out of
things.
horrible home situations.
Yep. Yeah, it does happen, and sometimes you know I think the thing about it is that yeah, you understand it's a nature and nurture thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all one or the other.
Yeah. But no, I actually, I thought this film was okay. Now,
This was definitely especially for it being a Showtime movie. It's actually really well done. The cinematography is very nice.
mm-hmm,
It's very well made. It's also pretty short. It's just like 90 minutes.
mm-hmm.
Actually, maybe 100.
It's like
So that
96. Like, it's
yeah,
literally just
it's a
shy of
very
100.
short movie, which is interesting because Showtime didn't have commercials. But I mean, it was a it was a very quick go through.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think they had a low budget because you could tell that it was basically in Norman's house and the radio station. So
Yeah.
we're gonna save some money on the budget somewhere or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a nice send off to the character,
Mm-hmm.
and you know,
Now, there were some things that worked and some things that didn't, because there were certain
oh yeah, I mean
times
there
where,
was.
like, I'm watching a scene, like, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, okay, the whole, yeah, when he's going after his first victim, the younger one, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that was interesting. That shit was kind of entertaining what was going on there. And then you get
Mm-hmm.
to the older woman, and I'm watching him strangle her, and I'm bored for some reason. I'm not
It
sure why. Maybe it was just the way the scene was shot.
I feel like we already at this point know that he's gonna do that, so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it probably would have worked a little bit better had me. I think either that or you know what, I think you might have needed to speed that up a little bit, like not
Yes.
delve too much. I also feel that honestly, if that had been the first one, it would have worked a little bit better. If it had
Yes.
been um instead of the young girl,
Mm-hmm.
the first one had been the older and it's not like oh she's super old, she's like what, maybe mid-30s,
Yeah.
40,
No,
that kind of
he's
yeah, a bit
just
of a
still a
cougar kind of
teenager
thing.
at the time.
He's still kind of a teenager, early 20s kind of guy. So I think what I probably would have done was had that one be first,
Yep.
because that one feels like a first kill.
It
That one
does.
feels like a first kill in a Persona,
Mm-hmm.
and where it's like, oh fuck, but you had the other way around, and that I feel would have been a thing of, no, let's put that one later, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, maybe he wouldn't have even killed the young girl,
Mm-hmm.
but she found out. And then that becomes the thing of, it becomes that mother persona becomes stronger and
Mm-hmm.
stronger and stronger in that,
Oh yeah.
you know,
But yeah.
because yeah, she was just someone young and it was same age and just want to have a little fun.
Yeah, she starts snooping around.
But
That's the problem.
that she snooped around and found the corpse, so gotta go.
Yep.
And I think that was why they did that. But I though feel that the car one shouldn't have had. It felt like that one felt more like a first kill. Like there was too many fuck ups.
Yeah, that one should have just been. That should have been the
Mm-hmm.
1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. I do think this movie is interesting. I think it's
I
worth a
definitely would.
watch.
I would be like, it is definitely worth a stream,
Mm-hmm.
and or back in the day would have been worth a rent.
Yep.
So, um, I think that and or if you like Psycho, you like the other movies, then give it a shot. It's a different thing, but I feel like it finishes out the story, gives Norman an acceptable ending.
Mm-hmm.
Even though yes, it was designed to be for sequels, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, with Anthony Perkins gone, it's like, yeah, the character Norman Bates is dead, and doing it with his kid doesn't make sense because his mom seems like a very loving mother and all that kind of stuff. Very
Yeah.
different from the kind of character that created Norman Bates. So
Yeah.
that's how I would go. I would and part of this was an interesting. It's like on Mother's Day. You know what we should do. That, and I kind of just like this one version of it because you do feel like Perkins is having fun with the role.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we will get around to 2 and 3 at some point.
yeah,
There's a lot of part of the reason why we're so low on people here is apparently everybody was hoping we were going to do 2, but we did 4. They're like, and I'm like, okay.
yeah,
And I watched it and I went, okay, I kind of see why you went but
yeah.
I'm
I
fine.
get you. Well, you know what? Maybe the fact is, how about maybe what we do is we do a rewatch. We do 2 and 3, and then we do 4 again, and then we kind of see if people are interested. And they might be. But I think
Yeah.
part of the thing why I was the one who said it is because this one doesn't. You don't require anything from 2 and 3. Like they are not necessary watching for this movie.
Fair.
Just the first one,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm okay with because the other sequels wouldn't have been as well known. I feel
True.
they're not as super well known,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always difficult for a movie to find an audience when it needs to have when you need to have all this required knowledge from past sequels to be able to make it sense. It's like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts the it hurts the movie because then there's less people who are going to be able, because they'll be like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah.
What's it going on? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you see that a lot in sequels.
Yeah, especially nowadays with the huge amount of, even with the MCU, this huge amount of movies. It's like I can't always see all the movies, so I don't know what's going on half the time.
Sure.
Oh well, but yeah, I'd give it a watch.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'd say it's worth a watch.
Find a place where it's streaming for free.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at it then and decide then, because it's not for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So
It's a TV movie, so I know it's actually on Tubi, but you'd have to deal with commercials.
Yeah, but
Which is
that might
fine.
not. Well, then pick a day where it's like you got nothing to do, or like you done some stuff and now you're just kind of chilling. Take a
Yeah.
look at it on Tubi. That's a good one. Just take a look on Tubi then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my thing isn't just that, you don't want to pay for it, but it's no, when it's something that's a little more niche and divided,
Mm-hmm.
it's best to see it first and then decide, are you interested in getting it or not? Because if you're not, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I mean, are we so old that the concept of commercials are that bad? I
True.
mean,
True.
fuck.
Although
I
YouTube
mean,
ads can go fuck themselves. Oh, I'm
YouTube
sorry.
ads,
We're on
YouTube
YouTube.
ads, YouTube ads may go fuck themselves, but like Tubi, and even when I was watching stuff like on Shout Factory, they have a streaming service. I don't find their commercials to be
No, they're
that bad.
fine. It's
They're
it's
fine, and it's
regular
like
ads.
okay.
You're not dealing with fucking
Hmm.
porn
Or scams.
or
Oh, I've
scams
gotten a lot of scams.
or scams that are masquerading as porn.
Or porn that's masquerading as scams.
Scams. Yeah. God, this
But
format. This
I
fucking
know.
platform.
But I have nothing else more to this movie.
Nah. Nah. I think we can pretty much wrap it up. Like
Yeah,
it's worth a
let's wrap this
watch.
bad boy up.
So with
Yeah.
all of that said, Pass, where can people find you?
They can find me over on Twitch. The username pass_the_remote. You can also find me on YouTube, Pass the Remote CF.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's Twitter. That's
Ah.
Twitter. That's the desiccated husk of Elon Musk's ego. No, pass_the_remote for YouTube. I can't remember nowadays. My mind is bleh. it's it's been a crazy few months, and my brain has not yet really had time to just kind of. We're just going to basically kind of let the brain reset,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a thing. But yeah, YouTube, it's at pass_the_remote. I also sometimes do Kick streaming, but not that much. I have it. I've done it a few times. That's also pass_the_remote.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done some Kick stuff, and we might do more of it if it get, for some of the more naughty things, or things that might get me kicked off of Twitch and stuff. But yeah, then you'll find me on Blue Sky. I believe that's just past the remote on Blue Sky. Let me double check. You'll find me on and then at passremote.blue sky social, whatever the fuck. Hey, if you've seen people with that, you know where to find. Okay. Listen, my avatar is going to be Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force wearing Shara Asnable's outfit. If you see that, that might be me. And it says pass the remote, that's me.
Yeah.
This war don't matter. None of this matters. Your soul's weighted down by gravity. It don't matter. None of this matters. You also will find me on the desiccated husk of Elon Musk's ego,
mm-hmm.
also known as Twitter.
Yeah.
You'll find me there under Pass the Remote CF, no underscores. So you'll find me there. On Twitch, you'll find me Mondays and Tuesdays doing the channel flip and the Toku Tuesday with Ookami and sometimes other folks. And then you might find me on social media ship posting and all that kind of stuff.
Excellent. You can, of course, find me here on YouTube with the rest of my crew in the Wolfston Productions. From goofy-ass anime to the shocking horror, Wolfston Productions, your number one stop for equally nerdy reviews of nerdy media. You can also find me over on Blue Sky under the Mistress Ookami. That's right, Mistress Ookami. That's my name. Don't wear it out. And if you're feeling extra generous, head on over to the Wolfstead Patreon. We can get access to episodes that may or may not drop to the general public. Episodes that most certainly will not drop to the general public. Behind the scenes, all sorts of goodies, all for a measly $1 a month. Remember, folks, $1 a month goes a long, long way. I also almost forgot to bring up Wolfson Productions over on wow, why did I forget our other streaming service? Holy shit. No. Podbean. Podbean. You can also find it over on Podbean. That's where you find the audio version. The video version goes up 3 hours prior.
Now you also can, and as I've done this, you also can find. You also can find, if you go on to iTunes, you can subscribe to the podcast and have it downloaded to your iTunes. So if you're like one of me who's like, I'm not giving up my goddamn iPod. This is a beautiful design. Fuck Apple for not doing anything more with it. You can do that. And
wait, it's there? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's there. Oh, I think what it is that iTunes pulls from a lot of different podcasts. Either that or...
Oh, yeah, Podbean did say that it will put on iTunes. Like, it'll cut out the middleman and just go ahead and put it on iTunes for you. Okay.
Yeah, so you could actually look up Wolf's Den Productions, and you should be able to find the podcast, subscribe to it, and then you can download. So if you've got like an iPhone or something, you can actually get the podcast onto your iPhone.
There you go, folks. You can get it over there.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it over there.
Especially if you're doing it like for work and stuff like that. Because, sometimes it's like, oh, you podcast and do podcast listening while you're while you're driving and stuff like that.
While
you don't want to be watching videos while you're
working out. Yeah.
True.
While you're writing a paper. Yeah, it's
well,
it's
good. We can't help you write the paper.
No, we can't help you write the paper. But no, that's good to know. And until next time, remember, folks, keep watching horror films. Try to think of what's coming up next. I am drawing a fucking blank, but I think it's something I'm doing with Varren and Xeiren specifically. So keep your eyes out for that. And we are going to try to do a anime related for this month. So an anime discussion. So keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long few months.
Yes, but
fucking tired. Anyways, good night, everybody.
It's kind of weird. I would have put a praying mantis thing on there, but then, that's the female killing the male after sex. I don't think it works the other way around.
No, I actually don't even...
I haven't seen any. Maybe seahorses.
Oh.
I don't know.